right, we're back with more Shack News Game of the Year 2022 deliberations. We have got a very classic Shack News category right now, one that is probably unique to us here. We love the Nintendo Switch. We want to see more stuff come out for it. And with that in mind, this category is best game that should be on Nintendo Switch. Could be anything, could be any game at all. Just something that we think should be on the Switch. We got a lot of nominations to get through. So what do you say we get going? Who'd like to go first?
Sure, I will.
All right.
Blake, you already know what I'm going to say. Even though there are a lot of great choices for this category, I have to go with Marvel Snap. This has been a drum I've been beating for the last 5 years, almost 6. The Switch has been out. Um, traditional controller-based games on the Switch are great, but it has touchscreen functionality that a lot of developers haven't used. I think a Marvel Snap would work really well on the Switch. They could make controls for a controller, or just go with the touchscreen. I think it'd be a great way to play the game on the Switch OLED, or the Switch Lite, or if you're just playing your regular Switch in handheld mode. It would be a pretty cool game for that platform. I think it would work really well. So I'd love to see Marvel Snap on Switch. More CCG games in general, I guess.
Yeah, I think also it'd be really cool if you could play that game like holding the Switch vertically, that tablet. When the
That's
Switch
kind of what
came
I
out,
was. Yeah.
there were a couple games that did that when the Switch first came out, but that kind of vanished. It'd be cool to see someone bring that back.
Yeah. I feel like that would open the floodgates. Like, if Marvel Snap, I think, is a game that would do well on Switch, especially with the momentum it has right now. We could even see like versions of Magic and other CCGs on Switch. So I think it would be a trendsetter, as well as just a great game in its own right.
It's a great game, but like, why? Like, if I have it on my phone, like, why would I want to play it on Switch? Like, for the bigger screen
I
size?
think that, yeah. I mean, that's a good point. I think it's really just for it's just another way to play it. Like, I actually, Marvel Snap is an anomaly for me. I don't really play a lot of mobile games, but I'm on my Switch almost every day, even if it's just to spend like 15-20 minutes with Animal Crossing. And I know my nieces, like, they have phones. Kids today are they come out of the womb holding phones, but they love games. They want to make games one day, and they are on their Switches constantly. So I feel like a game like Marvel Snap would probably appeal to them more by virtue of being on Switch. It might even be to them what Magic the Gathering was for our generation. It would be their introduction to CCG. So I think that's a fair point, Greg. But there are a lot of people who don't necessarily play handheld games on mobile platforms.
Yeah, maybe you don't want your kid to have a phone, and you could rather hand them a Switch and let them not mess up your Marvel Snap account or whatever.
Yeah, you just
Yeah.
never know. Like, kids, especially at a young age, maybe this is something Morgan could speak to, but they might be playing the game you gave them, but if you accidentally swipe in the wrong direction, all of a sudden they're doing other stuff, right? Like with a Switch, you know that they're only playing games.
I mean, like, my nephew got the phone taken away, and he hasn't gotten it back still because he racked up a $800 bill for Pokemon Go. So like, he's not
There you
allowed
go.
to
Hey,
use
another
the
fine
phone.
example.
Yeah. So like, but he's
Yeah,
not
there
allowed
you
to
go.
use
Example.
Switch. So
All right. Yeah. Well, see, Greg, you solved your own argument right there. All right.
That's a good
Well,
point.
yeah. We got a lot of nominations to get through. So who would like to go next here?
I'll go next.
Yeah, you good, Greg?
Yeah, Vampire Survivors. If has anyone had a chance to play this on staff? Like, I came in super late to the game. I played it when Sam mentioned it in one of the debates, and it's a highly addictive game. It's a twin stick shooter without the second aiming stick. So you just move. And like, as you move, you pick up power-ups and different abilities and different like automatic weapons like flamethrowers, axes, like holy energy. It's in the vein of like the style of a Castlevania in terms of like design. So like art design. So like, you play like a priest or like a knight, and you're fighting through like undead plants, zombies, skeletons, werewolves, and you're just moving around. It's just this crazy amount of NPCs on screen. All you have to do is avoid attacks and avoid enemies. And the game does all the aiming for you as you pick up power ups, and you get jewels between each wave of levels to like level your guy up, and it's a really addictive game loop. And I haven't been playing it when I'm not playing Marvel Snap a lot, like probably too much. And it's a great game. It's a really cool game that went under the radar, I think.
Yeah, it's really gained a lot of momentum. Is one of those. I love games like that, games that just kind of come out of nowhere. Signalis is one of those for me this year. Demon Souls was years ago, and on the Shacknews chatty, there is a Vampire Survivor thread almost daily with people just talking about their latest runs, how well they're doing. It's pretty cool to see that sort of just grassroots momentum for a game.
Has that Hades loop that everyone loves, like you go through the level,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
die,
for
then you
sure.
start over and you go through the level again, you get different weapons, and yeah, it has that loop gets its teeth into people, especially me.
Especially because much like Marvel Snap and oftentimes Hades, depending on how how that goes for you, the runs can be kind of short, so you feel compelled to do just one more run, just one more run.
Yeah, I've been hearing good things about it. It definitely doesn't strike you when you see it, though.
Yeah, really low key, modest game, to put it lightly, right?
I guess that's one way of putting it. Yeah. Well,
Veneer, yeah.
I imagine that game will show up on Switch. It sounds like something that wouldn't be too tough to port. It doesn't sound like it's very graphics intensive or anything like that.
I think they got
And
Microsoft money, so that's why it's not on Switch, because it's on Game Pass. So it's on Game Pass right now if you have it. But like that might be a reason they have exclusivity for usually a year.
yeah, timed exclusiveness, but eventually it'll make it to Switch. All right. Well, we got more nominations, so let's keep rocking them noms. Who would like to go next? Donovan?
Yeah, I nominated Multiverses. Game came out this summer, I believe, on every platform but Switch. Coincidentally, it's got full cross-play, cross progression, and it'd be cool to have another good platform fighter that's not called Smash on Switch. Um, that game has gotten a lot of love. It'd be cool to see some healthy competition between them. And also, Multiverses would just play so well on Switch. The developers clearly had an admiration for the platform fighter. Um, I think that it would fit like a glove on that platform.
Man, I don't know if Nintendo would be willing to have a Smash like game on their platform that had better
Definitely not.
netcode than
Well,
Smash.
that's one qualifier, but the Nickelodeon All Stars is on Switch, so I don't think they're
Yeah.
opposed to it.
Yeah, but that wasn't a threat. I'm not saying that Multiverses is either, but I think it's a much more put together game with a much larger licensing library. I mean, it should come out on the Switch. It seems like a no-brainer, but I could also see why the Switch would be like, nah, dog, we got our own thing going on here.
Like a lot of things going on right now as far as the Smash community goes. So maybe they should
Yeah.
invite Multiverses in.
Well, Smash is also like it's not dead, but it's going to start doing that incline, right? There's no more patching, there's no more DLC characters, so the game is in its state it's going to be till the end of time. So like it will start to fall off eventually. It may take a few years, but it will. And so like what better game to replace it than Multiverses?
I mean, WB has plenty of money, and they can continue to toss in new characters for a very long time. So I feel like Switch, makes a lot of sense if you want to get that part of the market in. And, of course, you still got stuff like the Steam Deck out there. So eventually, if they don't go to Switch, there's another portable option out there. Plus, the game is free. So,
Yeah.
Nintendo would also benefit. They would get a cut of any microtransactions. So
Yeah.
it would be a win for them. There are a lot of other games in the mold of their biggest AAA hits. So I really don't think I see where you're coming from, Blake. I don't think the perceived competition would be an issue for them at all.
I was being just a little bit cheeky about it, but a good nomination, a solid one. I mean, finally, Mario and LeBron James on the same console. That's what everybody's hoping for. Let's keep going down this list here. Who's got their nomination ready? Who's got it in the pocket ready to go?
I can share mine. I put Stray. I was kind of surprised the Stray's not on Switch. I think it would be a good little handheld kind of platforming experience. I think it's suitable as well for the Switch. Like I think my son is like fascinated by the game, but he doesn't really play it too much. Like I have it on the PlayStation, so I don't know. I think Switch would be a good, appropriate place for Stray. So fingers crossed it comes there in the future.
As my
Great
cat
nomination.
jumps up and starts scratching at stuff.
Yeah, again, I think it's that exclusivity thing, the year of exclusivity for the consoles because they got indie money, and they should have taken it too. If you're an indie developer, you definitely take that money. Why wouldn't you not take that money?
Well, yeah, but that's the category is games we won on Switch, and Stray is a
Absolutely.
game we won on Switch.
Oh,
yeah.
dude, for sure. It's like a portable little kitty cat on the go anywhere you want, and it's a really solid game that makes a lot of sense on the Switch to me. But we have a couple other nominations. Steve,
Okay, here we go.
do you want to explain yourself?
Yeah, all right. It's never gonna happen. The system's not powerful enough. But I said Elden Ring. It's never gonna happen. It would make it. I don't even know if it makes a whole lot of sense to have it on Switch because the system's not powerful enough. If we get a Switch 2 or Super Switch or whatever in the next year or two, then maybe like every other powerful game on another system, the Switch gets it later, and we'll see what happens to it. I don't have access to it yet. My PC is probably not powerful enough to run it. But I want to be able to play Elden Ring in some capacity. So it's games we want on Switch, and that's what I want on Switch.
Fair enough. Dream big, Steve. Dream big.
Gotta go for why hit singles when I can hit a home run?
There you go. The Souls I don't think are very well represented on Switch actually. Like Dark Souls is on Switch, but that port had some issues. But if the Switch can stream cutting edge games like Resident Evil 2 and 3 remake, I mean, I think Elden Ring that'd be a great fit. There'd be a lot of people who want to play it on that platform for sure.
I feel like the UI would be a challenge on Elden Ring because that when you open up your stat thing to look at weapons and stuff, there'd be so many numbers and they'd be this small in handheld mode and it would be like magnifying glass. I have that trouble in Darkest Dungeon too. There's lots of stat game and I'm like, well, how do I read this? Can I read this? The screen size I think is a big issue for that.
That's true. But they could always change that sort of stuff. All right, bold nomination, Steve. I have a feeling it might not get the W, but I respect it. We still even more. Wow, what a stat category! People have strong opinions about what games should be on Switch, for sure.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's talk about some Terror of Hemosaurus, because that's my nomination. And I brought this up in I forget what other category I brought it up in, but this is a modernized Rampage and that in of itself delights me to no end. But it's like a one-man development team. Lauren Lemke is working on the game by himself for the most part, and that means that it's a little harder to develop for multiple platforms at once. I know that they have already said that it's eventually going to come to the Switch, but it's not there yet, and I very much want it to be because I want to kick cars through buildings on the go. That game's destruction elements are just pure euphoria. The amount of wanton and tremendous wreckage and chaos you can deal out to a city as you just wander through is an absolute delight. You can do it in a co-op if you want, and I like that is both that game would be a wonderful couch co-op game, and it would be a wonderful on-the-go game for how small the levels are.
I think it's a good pick. Yeah, it's Rampage. It's better. It's bigger, better, newer Rampage.
And now that I think about it, we don't really have even classic Rampage games on the Nintendo Switch right now, so it's a really empty space for that specific type of game.
For a game about rampaging around the world, we certainly did not have enough representation on the Switch for that game. So, TJ, while you're talking, I also want you to talk a little bit about Ozzy's nomination here because we need someone to show us some love on Ozzy's behalf.
Rumbleverse is a very interesting battle royale, right? Because like it's wrestling, it's all wrestling, and we already have games like Fortnite and a few other battle royales on Switch, but like Rumbleverse is scratches an entirely different kind of itch in that sort of category, and not only like would it be, is it cartoonish and low scale enough to, I think, fit the Switch's style, but it's just a fun game in general. And I think being able to play that game on the go, join up with your buddies, whether you're doing like singles on your way to the championship belt, or whether you're joining up tag teaming, throwing elbows, dropping spinning pile drivers, I think that would be a wonderful game to go onto the Switch. It would be, yeah. What more can I say? It's wrestling.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think it's another solid choice. Yeah, I think Ozzy just wants Rumbleverse everywhere more. I think Ozzy just wants to see this game get a fair shake. He's a big fan of it, and it is a very unique approach to the battle royale formula. So and family friendly. It's kid appropriate. Kids they love the wrestling. Adults do as well. So yeah, why not give them a little wrestling on the thing? Makes sense. We got one more nomination to go in this here category, and this one comes straight from Asif. It's Deep Rock Galactic. I don't know if anyone else here has popped on a dwarf beard, shot themselves into space, and dug holes into the ground.
You know what? That's why I was late today. That's actually it. That's why
you were playing Deep Rock Galactic? Or...
No, I put on a dwarf beard, shot myself into space. I just got back. I didn't want to be later than I was.
So you've been, I mean, okay, so Deep Rock Galactic, 4-player co-op online game, and basically what you do is you go to these different planets and you have objectives that involve mining resources usually. So you're trying to collect the stuff, you're attacked by creatures while you're doing it, and it's sort of get in, dig your way through the dirt and the rock in order to find what you're looking for, and then get out with as many survivors as you can in order to get the W. So missions, they can take some can be longer, some can be shorter, but for the most part, it's the kind of thing that you can do it in bite-sized interactions and engagements, right? It's also a game where you can buy everybody a beer before a round and dance around to music on the jukebox. It's got a lot of cool customization options that unlock as you go, and then everybody has a role on the team as well. So you'll have someone who is more of the tank character. You'll have another person for resources. You'll have
there's
people
scout.
that are in charge of drilling.
There's a scout, yeah. You send it encourages teamwork, kind of like the X-Men. So you have to the scout can reach high places. So you hey, go get that mineral up there and bring it down, or the driller needs to get somewhere fast so you can drill super quickly. There's another guy that can set up turrets and is really defensible. And there's a bunch of different mission types. Some are find resources and escape. Some are attach X to Z and make a railing, and then others are kill 3 bosses. So there's a lot of variety to it. And people are really liking it. And like mentioned, there's a hub where you can dance and access to your character customizer, equip your weapons, your skills, your loadouts, have a beer. There's little mini games in there too. So it's a very sociable experience.
Yeah, and it's all about beards in that game, which I think a lot of our staff can appreciate. As I look around and I notice that Bill is the only one here without a beard of any sort right now, I think.
He has a beard. It's just light.
It is. It's 4 or 5 o'clock shadowy right now.
Called a goatee.
A goatee, I guess.
But I did shave my head. So,
yeah.
So
all right. So everyone's got some facial hair. All right. Morgan does not have facial hair, but they are AFK for the minute. So yeah, if you like beards, you might like Deep Rock Galactic. If you like dwarves, you might like Deep Rock Galactic. If you like co-oping with your friends and going on adventures, you might like Deep Rock Galactic. And with that, I think it's time to put it to a vote. What do you say? Steve, I'm going to let you go last, just so you have time to think about it. David Elcratic.
I have not used one of these yet. I'm going to pass for right now because this is a stacked category.
Oh my goodness. Denny.
Yeah, I'm rolling with multiverses.
All right, good choice. Donovan.
Same, multiverses.
Greg, Burkleton Burke.
I'm gonna. I said Vampire Survivors, but I don't want to waste the vote, so I'm gonna do Deep Rock Galactic because that game should be on Switch. God damn it, it's been too long.
TJ.
You know what? I am going to go Deep Rock Galactic only for the fact that I know that Terror of Hemosaurus is already coming to Switch, so I've already won this category.
I guess you should if you're getting into real life, just shut up because you're already right. Morgan.
I'm gonna stick with Stray.
Bill Lavoie.
I thought Donovan had a very sensible argument, but then somebody mentioned, Blake, it was you, about buying a beer before a match, and I feel like the Switch needs more beer, so I'm going to go with Deep Rock Galactic.
All right. You know what? I did not have a horse in this race, but I mean, I just gave such an impassioned speech. I convinced myself for Deep Rock Galactic as well. Beards and beers. All the way. Steve.
Well, since I know Elden Ring is never coming to Switch, I'm gonna go with Deep Rock Galactic.
All right. David.
Yeah, I don't think it'll win at this point, but I would love to play Stray on Switch, so I'll vote for that.
Good choice. All right. So I know Asa voted for Deep Rock Galactic. Ozzy voted for Rumbleverse. And then what did our own Sam Chandler vote for? It looks like he voted for Vampire Survivors, Greg. You weren't alone in deciding that was a good pick. But it looks like we're all going mining in space because Deep Rock Galactic is your game that should be on Switch winner for 2022.
Make every bullet count. Here we go. Eat that. It's gonna blow.